important message that supports that mood, has a good scent that supports that, and at the same time good aesthetics.
When we were on a train, an overnight train, going from Bangkok to the north of Thailand.
B2B marketplace essentially is, let's say, the Amazon of connecting brands to shops.
What would I say to this person that I have to give?
Welcome everyone back to the Right Moods podcast. So this will be our third podcast. It's going to be about how to build the candle business that we're building in our 20s. Something like that. To be fair, we don't know the title just yet, but essentially it's going to be about how we've done it in 8 months, essentially 5 to 8 months, really. Today we have a full house. We have Andy, Pablo, Chris, and me, Manu. Guys, how are you feeling today? Because I honestly feel like we're not very prepared.
So this is right after the World Cup final, so we're all destroyed. but we're recording this. We've got some interesting stuff to say today. So I would say it's good vibes. Good vibes.
Yep.
Need so much preparation. I mean, this just explaining how we started all of this, give you guys a bit of a timeline. Not much preparation needed, but let's see if we can still remember everything that's been going on, because it's been a long 8 months. I can tell you that.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I'm so fucking tired that I don't know how to talk right now.
You're good.
Okay. Honestly, if you're listening to this, thank you so much, but give us a break. I mean, it's our third podcast. It's a Sunday evening. But anyways, we're going to do our best to kind of try to give you paint the picture of how we've done it, so that you understand what we really stand for and the process. Because I think it's pretty unique, especially because we work remotely, right? We are not a team that is in the same place, working together in an office. Some people may know that they are familiar with the brand already. We are essentially students. We're just like young professionals and students doing other things part-time and then building this brand part-time, right? So I think it's going to be very interesting to hear what we have to say about this. So hopefully you stay in and get some value out of it.
Yeah, I think it's cool to mention, because maybe it's the first time they're listening, that I'm currently in the Netherlands. Chris is in Germany, Pablo is in Spain, and Manu is in the UK. So 4 different countries we're doing this. It's been like this for the last 4 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
¿Qué pasa?
Yeah. So anyways, let's dive into it. Essentially, as I said, we're going to kind of go into a little bit of a timeline, how we did it. So I want to take you back to 8 months ago. And honestly, I haven't done the maths. I don't know when 8 months ago was. Something like February, March. I don't know. Something like that. We're filming this in December, by the way. Essentially, that's when the idea of starting a Kindle brand emerged. That's how it happened. And we were like, okay, we have to do this. And then after that, there were few months between we actually started to kick it off.
Yeah.
But 8 months ago, more or less, we had the idea. I'll just say, because I think that, I kind of had the idea initially. And how this happened is because we were essentially, Andy, Chris, and I, we also have another e-commerce brand. And we were working with marketplaces for B2Bs and putting our products in stores and all of that.
Explain
and
for the people that do not know what a marketplace, a B2B marketplace is exactly.
So B2B marketplace essentially is, let's say, the Amazon of connecting brands to shops, retail shops, like the gift shop that you buy at the street, all of that type of stores. And essentially, it's quite a growing area in business now to get your products directly to shops. And it's amazing. It's a B2B area. It's great.
Yeah.
So essentially, after the new year, at the beginning of 2022, I received this report from one of these marketplaces that was highlighting the most sold products, the most searched products, the most popular products. And it turns out that most of them were Kindles, right? So that was the first thing. And since Andy, Chris, and I, we were working in e-commerce with other brands, building our own brand, we came across many other brands. We knew that Kindles, they're such a cool product, man. They are so easy to market in terms of aesthetics. They look so good. They're tangible, nice shape. So I think when I read that report, it just clicked for me. I was like, man, guys, we need to do it. So I just called the guys. I called Andy and Chris. when we were working together, and I said we have to do this. And then at first they were like, "You're crazy. I mean, let's slow down," because I was a little bit like crazy about it. It just kind of clicked, and I wanted to go for it. But then, after that, I actually want to ask you guys, and Chris, like, what was your first thoughts about this, right? Because I was super convinced at first, and then I kind of had to pitch the idea to you guys, like, let's do candles. So, what are your?
I remember a few, like, even before that report happened, we were seeing so many candle business. I remember having conversations with you, man, of like, whoa, these are cool. Like these candles, several brands were like, oh, this is quite a cool brand, and they're selling candles. And we were like noticing a trend of different businesses doing candles becoming popular. So at first, when you said it, like going back to the question, when you mentioned that, I was like, yeah, I understand why you're saying it, but let's slow down. Like we have a lot in our hands already right now. So, and starting candles is like such a different tangent that we were like, I was a bit like, oh, yeah, let's keep it in mind, but let's slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like I was the same. Like you guys know me very well. You know, I'm always very critical, and like I like to take things back to reality and like kind of take them down and like look at it step by step. And so when you came in like super excited about these candles, I was like, I have no idea. I don't know anything about candles. Like, what are we going to do here? Like, we don't have a single clue about what any of this is going to be like.
It's actually
what really convinced me were the numbers, because you didn't mention what the report said. What really convinced me were those numbers, because that was really impressive. If I remember correctly, it was like a report about the search requests. So what the people type in the search bar of that marketplace. And apparently, I don't know the numbers exactly, but I think in the top 5 search requests, there was like 3 or 4 were about candles. And I think the number 1 was actually about, it was like candles. And it was like even above Christmas, requests. It was insane. And that really just showed us, or like convinced me, that like there's something out there, like there's great potential out there in candles, which I haven't been aware before. Like
So to move a little bit like faster, I mean to paint the picture really. When I pitched this idea to Andy and Chris, they were so hesitant because we were like really busy with our other brand, which we still work on. So also from the very beginning, we were thinking of Pablo. It's like, all right, guys, if we want to take on this new opportunity, like new brand, all of that, we need more hands. Like we need more people to work with and all of this. So we thought about Pablo from the very beginning. And maybe I even sent him a message like, hey man, like we're thinking of doing something, all of that. Although he didn't really come into action like around summer, like a few months later when we actually had something to present and work on. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Pablo, when we really reached out to you, but what was your idea when we told you, oh, we want to do candles? Because I think maybe we only told you like around like summer or something like that. But what did you think about it?
You reached me out and you told me we are planning to do another business, but you didn't tell me it was about candles until you come to Manu and my city, and you told me, man, this is about candles, and I was candles, really? And then you explained me everything. You told me it's gonna be about this type of candles. We wanna do this thing, make a differentiation from the rest of the brands, and yeah, I liked that idea. I started collaborating with you.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the reason why we didn't like present that first was mainly because we just didn't have any. We didn't have anything. We didn't have a brand. We didn't have a brand identity. What are we even doing? Like candles. We don't have a supplier, anyone to work with. So it was just a concept, as I said, 8 months ago. And I'm gonna take you a little bit forward. That's when the actual creation of the brand happened. This maybe was 5-6 months ago. And it's actually pretty cool because when the ideas were really formed was when Andy, Chris, and we were traveling Thailand over summer, over like June, July. And essentially, I think there we started to have the first like brainstorming sessions. And that's when the thing of like moods, that's when it sparked, I think. I think that was the first time that this idea, we were even considering other like shitty names like Vibes or like whatever. But we already had once that idea came to mind, I think it never left because I don't know. Tell me, guys, like what you thought about it. But we used to start going in loops and like, oh, we could do like different modes. Each Kindle is a different message and like a send.
I have
So
two very vivid moments, like memories in my head, which we can shortly explain. Right, one of them is when we were on a train, an overnight train, going from Bangkok to the north of Thailand. We had some brainstorming session there. I remember we were more than thinking about the name of the brand and all that, we were thinking about what the candle would represent and what the candle could show, what would be the branding around the candle. And I remember, like, there's where we came up with our first candle, which was the sexy mood candle, a light up for sex. At that moment, for us, it was very funny, and we thought like that would be a cool product to market. I don't know, Chris, do you remember that moment? I think you for sure remember
I remember that
bunk
moment
beds.
very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such an interesting night because the first night I slept on the train, it was like in the jungle somewhere in northern Thailand. We woke up, we had some coffee that we bought for like 20 cents in that train, and we sat together like in our beds, like after a crazy night on the train, and we just discussed like the future of what we want this to look like. And I remember, we came up with even with the light up for sex slogan, I think we came up with that right there and then. So pretty quickly, and we all thought it's a great idea.
Actually, I remember how Manu was very pushing to do the brainstorming session at that moment, and I just woke up. I was like, "What are you talking about right now?"
Yeah,
it was good. Because we had good ideas.
It's true because like I had this timeline in my head. I think we all knew about it. It's like, man, after Thailand, like if we want to do this, we need to have the ideas, and then it's like hands-on, like working with Pablo, and then after that, it's like producing. You know what I mean? So it was like, man, we need to live this fucking trip with good ideas. So we fucking woke up in the middle of the jungle in a shitty train after a 20 cents coffee, but we're doing a brainstorming session now. Like I was also like we were in like the worst state, honestly, for that brainstorming session. We didn't shower for 3 days, something ridiculous. It was like 40 degrees. Like, anyways.
So it is very funny to see how our bestseller was actually made on that train, was thought about on that train, and that moment in time. But yeah, now we can move forward, take us to the next step.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, quick thing though, so that people know. I think when you came up with it, when you said light up for sex, I think that was a very defining moment because we kind of knew that we had to be focused on message. That was the key thing, no? Like I think that brand, that idea really shaped the whole brand really and what it was gonna be, and how also we had to play a little bit with like being catchy, you know, and good messages and things that people can relate to. And I think that was like really key to come up with that one.
We didn't go for the route of like design or having a nice logo or something like that. It was like phrases. The center of the candle is gonna be a phrase.
Exactly. That was a very defining moment.
From that realization, we really quickly realized that like the message is so important, and like the mood that message represents can be really important. And that's when we realized, well, actually, this is a really good idea because I don't know anything like that. I don't think anything like that exists already. And that's when we started looking into if there's any other candle brands like that, and then we realized, well, those moods are useful, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe you have in a better.
No, definitely. I just want to like bring up because I saw it on my phone. I opened the note earlier. This is like the first like essentially the first notes that we took on this train that we're talking about. And just to give context, I'll read like the first quote because I think that's how it's like kind of the moment when we realized that everything had to be about moods. So the first quote that I have about it is whole branding around it with a quote and different colors and graphics. I kind of like gives the idea that we wanted something which really like takes all possible elements to make it a mood, to make it like a cohesive experience as a candle, colors, graphics, everything. And from that now on, that was just about brainstorming the different types of moods that we wanted, the colors especially, you know, like I mean, so many things that happen later. But anyways, that's gonna take us actually, you know, after Thailand. Right, so now we're gonna go beyond Thailand essentially after this essential initial generation of idea happened of moods, and we want it to be about moods, and that takes us to going back to Spain. essentially after Thailand, Andy, Chris, and me went back to Spain to be together and do like a week and a half, something like that, together holiday, where I'm from in Spain. And then Paulo also lives in the same city, so that was kind of like the first time we got together as a team. We told Paulo exactly how things were gonna be, like what we wanted to do, our idea, and then we kind of entered this period of honestly pure work in every vertical and horizontal. Like it was just a lot of brainstorming so that people understand about anything that you can think of. This stage, which was from like beginning of August until all the way until the end of October, beginning of November, really, was just pure brainstorming about the anything like the brand name, the logo, the sense, the audience that we wanted to do, like everything, right? So I want to take a little bit into like pieces. I want to like kind of break down how we did this. So one of the areas that we work a lot and we brainstorm a lot was the was actually the design. Okay, although a lot of these things we kind of work together, like it was design at the same time we were Paulo and I were doing brainstorming about the audience, and then we kind of realized that after doing this brainstorming of the audience, we had to shape the designs, right? So let me just say that
Yeah.
designs we actually worked throughout those 4 months extra. But yeah, that how do you would you guys describe this period of time when in August we kind of started to open Canva, the app that we work on, and started to like start creating designs and like testing what the prototypes were looking like.
Fuck.
Oh,
What do you think, Andy?
so it was a crazy amount of work, and it was really messy at start because I remember each one of us having sort of their own idea in mind and creating everything around that idea. So we had like, I don't know, three, four different concepts of what the candle would look like. And each one of us was like focused on that one. So we did, I remember we had to take a step back and think like, where, what's the objective of this product? Is it to be for yourself to buy it? Is it more targeted as a gift? And depending on those aspects, we design the label accordingly. And in the end, we ended up doing a bit of a mix of like, definitely we wanted our product to be the a perfect gift, something that you can give to anyone and can fit multiple types of different people. But also we wanted to make sure that it had a meaning and that a person that would see the candle and would relate to that message could buy it for itself. So I think that was the hybrid that
Yeah.
we ended up going for. And for the longest time, I remember having the design inverted. So what you see right now, which is mostly colorful and then a white line at the bottom, we had it inverted for most of the time with the white on top and the
Mm-hmm.
accent color on the bottom. I remember that was a feature that changed at the end, but just interesting to see how everything can change really like from 1 second to another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I think like we jumped into the design very early on, which was good to kind of get a feel of what the product could
Hmm.
be and start working on something. But the real important conversation and brainstormings that we had to have was about the brand. Like, what does it stand for? What is the meaning of it? Who is the target audience? Why are we doing this? And this is actually a conversation that Pablo really pushed. I think
Hmm.
he did like very well there because we were like super eager to kind of like not necessarily move fast, but like kind of get a product
Hmm.
going, like see something. And we were like very focused on design, and then Pablo pushed that conversation a lot.
Hmm.
And then we, in one of these brainstorming sessions, we came out with like it's a gift. It's essentially a gift, and that really shaped the design, how we wanted to look, and yeah. So, what do you think, Pablo? Like, from your point of view, how did you see this process, and why did you think it was so important to
Mm,
first work on the base?
you guys are talking to me. I can hear you.
Can you hear me
Okay, right now. Yeah. Wow, my phone is fucked up.
now?
Um. Yeah, but I listened to your question. I think until that moment we were like super focused on design, on making like the coolest stuff, but not well aligned with the with the target, with the real values and everything. So we needed to go back a little bit, and say, okay, who are we focusing on? Who is our target? And we realized in this walk we did, Manu, uh, we realized that we are focusing on people like us, young people between more or less 17 years old to 35, more or less. It's a wide range, but young people. Then who? No, what is this product for? For a gift, for recurrent individual use, or and we try to answer that question. We went to the gift part, but also, as Andy said before, we also want to make a good product for the people who loves candles. And but yeah, we realized that candles, and I think it is a nice concept, have connect us.
Hmm.
So we thought that it's nice that this product has connected us, and it is also capable to connect other people together by gifting,
Hmm.
so yeah, 2 points completed. Then the design, we need to do the design around this
Yeah,
and everything, so
yeah, definitely.
more or less like that.
I
I
think
think.
also to
Yeah.
kind of a summary, like the main thing, or like the main thing we had in the back of our heads the whole time, was that what we want to do here is have a candle that has an important message that supports
Yeah.
that mood, has a good scent that supports that, and at the same time good aesthetics. So when we're doing the designs, we had all of these things in mind. We needed to have a great message, good text around that really promotes that mood, and we needed to have a very good design, a design that looks interesting and looks like kind of catchy, but also a design that you feel comfortable having in your house as like decoration, so that
Mhm.
it fits most purposes
Hmm.
possible.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, definitely. I think also what Pablo says is very interesting. Is like we realized that candles um, could be more than just a sense or aesthetics. They had this power to essentially connect people and connect. It just can be a great gift, right? So we thought that we
Mhm.
could just take that vertical and design them as gifts, and then if you're designing a gift, you are essentially sending a message, right? When you give a gift, so that also went really well with our idea of like the message and the whole mood and all of that. So I think that conversation was like really crucial and essentially allowed us to realize that our audience was young individuals, essentially people like us, right? That's so yeah.
Hmm.
Anyways, these conversations was really foundational, and I think it led us to essentially develop what is a blue ocean strategy. So people are hearing this essentially the marketing strategy that allows you to focus on differentiation. You're not doing candles like anyone else, right? Like we're doing candles which
Yeah.
are, I'm not, there might be some candles doing something similar, but 99% of the candles, they are around a nice scent, very minimalist aesthetics that blend with your living room. But we're kind of going beyond that. It's like candles can be more, they can connect people. They are gifts and they're colorful and they're nice with messages, right? So that was a huge part. And all of that started when we were thinking about our demographics and where we stand as a brand. Uh,
Yeah. And
I wanna. You guys have anything to say? Otherwise, I thought we
yeah.
could talk about the logo and also how that really helped like shape what we are. I think like the name Moods and the right Moods also helped a lot build shape the brand. Like Pablo, you wanna add anything else about the brand building and our targeting?
I wanted to add that once you have the target, your mission, and this like well established, you start doing the making the products in the right way. because you remember when we were like, man, what can we write in the description? Because we had a description already,
Yeah.
but we changed it once we have our target, and we tried to do it really focused on the gift
Yeah.
stuff. And we were like, with any product we have, we change it, we change everything.
Yeah.
We try to imagine a person in our heads and in our mind and say, okay, what would I say to this person that I have to gift? And then we wrote everything
Yeah.
from that. So
Something important
if you
to
want
learn.
to make something similar, this is, I think, a good tip to imagine the target, the person who is behind that, and try to do it in the way to convince the other people or to
Yeah.
satisfy the other person.
Something that the listeners can take out of this, I'm just realizing as I hear you guys talking about this, is like it is very easy to jump into designing a product, but it is super important to have that conversation with your teammates or with yourself of what it represents and who is this product for. So yeah, just to keep it in mind, something we've learned.
Yeah, definitely. So let's try to kind of take a step back, sum up a little bit what we've been talking about, and essentially we said how we build the basics of what the brand is. Then that really helped us build the design, and then on top of this, we also came up with the design of the logo, which I think also was crucial. And that kind of happened a little bit after we talked about what the brand was, and then we decided also the general direction of the designs. So we already had the name. We have to say that the name itself was also very influenced by potential copyright infringements, because we knew that it was about Moods, the brand, and essentially we wanted to call it Moods, use Moods. But because of copyright potential infringements, we kind of had to get around this and find something else, add more meaning to this name, to this word, Moods. And then essentially that led to being called The Right Moods. But this was after a lot of brainstorming and a lot of trial and error. We have to say that, the people here, we are not designers. We just, we know the basics for like Photoshop and Canva and all of this. But we're not designers, but this logo was essentially fully designed by us and actually on Canva, like the whole thing, which is pretty
Canva
crazy.
sponsors.
So yeah, the Right Moods logo was basically influenced by copyright infringements and done by us in Canva. That's essentially how
we
it
have like
happened.
60 different designs for the logo, something like that. We have
Yeah.
60 slides or more, like, and especially 60 designs of only like the Right Moods name, because we were at first looking into just Moods. And what Manu also mentioned about the copyright, which maybe Chris can expand a little bit more because he was basically working on that, but we had the name, which had to also be related to the design. I think, yeah, Chris, you can take over because you had to deal with all of this.
Yeah, no, so that's actually good that you mentioned it, Manu, because it gives me post-traumatic stress. I mean, that was quite difficult because we really wanted it to be called Moods because we were so sure that that's a good short name, and essentially that's what it's all about, right? So
yeah.
Moods would be perfect. And then I did some research on my own, and I found out that like there's a lot of like brands out there using the name Moods, and they're even already using it for candles. So there's this database where you can see all the registered trademarks. And I searched for them. There's a number of entries already for Moods and related to it for the candle category. So I called our trademark lawyer and I asked him what can we do to make this name any less infringing. And he said like, well, add graphics and add something in front. Put as much in there that distracts from the name Moods, because when people see that, they're going to be like, oh, this is very close to what we're doing, we're going to sue you. So that's when we realized we need to put something graphical in there, which are the smiley faces, and we also need to add something else, which is when we said, okay, there needs to be something in front of the brand name, which was the right boots. So there was a lot of thinking going into a lot of calls with our trademark lawyer, who at that time was really annoyed with us because he really wanted us to go away from the Moods name, because he was like, this is not going to go well. This is really at the border of copyright infringement. And we were so convinced that we wanted that, and we wanted to give everything to make this possible. So the way we did it in the end was the only acceptable way.
Yeah. I think it's
nice.
fucking lovely.
I love the logo. Yeah.
I love the logo.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think we never really thought that we would find such a good logo, and we tried out a lot of things. I remember we tried out, Pablo, you and me in Spain when we first started. We tried out making the M into like a flame, you know.
No, we honestly.
I will pull up in the screen all the different variations that we did. Like there's thousands.
No, they're so bad. Like some of them are like, you know what I mean? Like intention was there, but like like the O's as smiley faces, they're just brutal. They're so nice.
But at the start, it didn't look so good. The initial ideas that we had with the smiley faces on the O, we were like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But in the end,
it
was the key.
This was a little variation of the smiley faces, flip, and all of that, which worked out well somehow.
At least we really like it.
Yeah,
I don't know if the listeners do like it, but we do really like it a lot. I'm not saying
the listeners like it. Yeah. And I think it's really cool because it also not only looks nice and it says what we want, the right moods, the message, but it's just the tone of the design with the smiley face. It's about positivity as well, which is what we also want to push forward with our products and as a brand. So yeah, super happy with the design. But again, that was after a lot of brainstorming, a lot of trial and error, a lot of like mistakes, really, because we came up with a design and then no copyright. You know what I mean? So a lot of we had to be very flexible, and this was only after we already defined what the brand was, what our marketing or target market was gonna be. And even after having designed the basics of the Kindles, this kind of came out at the end. But yeah, pretty happy with that. So this, I know we've talked a lot, but all of this happened, as I said, from August all the way to like end of October. And then that really takes us just 1 month away from the actual launch of the brand. And essentially this month was very hectic. And I will divide it into key main areas. One was design again, because we always had, we had to make like final adjustments and all of that. We'll go into it briefly now. And then logistics. And this means talking to the supplier we already had that relationship with, because, in the last 6 months prior to this, we already were getting some samples from different suppliers and all of this. But now it was like the moment of truth. It's like, okay, now we have the designs, we know the sense that we want, because we were also doing brainstorming about that in the last few months, and we want to do it. Let's do it. And then it was a lot about like coordinating this production, how it's going to be. It needs to be shipped to our warehouse in Austria. So that happened there. And I have to say it's not easy, mainly because we were very time pressure. So honestly, a golden tip for anyone is like do stuff with like enough time,
like
because
3
that
times
was like
the time that you think you need.
Yeah,
like multiply by
if you think something's gonna take 1 month, it's 3. It's 3. Yeah. So yeah, this month was a lot about logistics as well, prior to the launch, and as I said, also about design in terms of getting everything up to speed, which was very intense, because, for example, the boxes of the products were designed in like, I don't know, the time span of like a week or two. That was like super hectic. So I was doing the designs on Adobe Illustrator, which I don't know enough about. So that was like really like a stressful time. Also, we were working, we have to say, with a professional designer to essentially take our concepts that we crafted on Canva, just make them look good. Because maybe we put like a fucking astronaut with like a moon there, and it's like, can you now please make it look proper, because these designs don't match together, and like we want something unique as well. So we found this designer. Honestly, he's
A
fucking
beast.
beast. Like
He was giving us the designs back within a day, like crazy timelines. And we had to use this designer
Yeah.
because as much as we mentioned that we designed everything on Canva, which we mostly did, we did hire a proper designer for all the graphics, for what Manu was saying, for the finishes, which we thought it was very important, and we couldn't achieve that level of quality for an end product just using Canva. But Canva was the main driver of the concepts and the layouts and all of that.
And essentially, I think it's also an important like takeaway that you need to outsource what you can't do. Like let the focus on what you can do best, and let others do what you suck at. And we suck at design, and that's why I was also saying that I'm surprised that we did the logo by ourselves.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? So that's really surprising, because we are not designers or anything like that. But in this case, we had to trust.
Also, like we had a certain budget that we could spend on that, but like for the people who are watching and might not have that budget, like it is also okay to start with like a more rough version that you've made yourself and you've learned with your skills. Like should definitely not discourage you.
I think definitely what we are doing now that we say we launched the brand, it's not the end of it. Like if anything, it's just the beginning. Products can change a lot. We can come out with like different scents for the products that we have. We can changes in the graphics. Like now we are just opening ourselves to our community. We're gonna aim to take as much feedback and data as we can, and we'll be shaping the brand forever. Really.
Because I think that's very important, because you don't start a brand with a perfect product. Like a perfect product takes time, and a perfect product takes feedback. So what we're really looking for as well is to see what people like, what our target audience likes, to get some feedback, see what you would want to see in a candle, what you would like to improve. So if you have things like that, you can feel free to let us know, because we're looking to improve the whole experience around the candles, to improve everything we can to make this a great product.
Like in this podcast, we've been talking like we've created this brand. We were thinking about that. This has not finished. We just did step one. The creation of the product continues with now how we market it, what's the story behind it, the videos that go out with those candles. The same with the brand. So we are building that together with the growth.
One thing I want to do now, actually, to like understand this feedback is like look at the traffic that we have on our website, and like we can do this like very easily with Google Analytics, and then see what this data is telling us. We just hit over 100,000 visitors on the website, which is pretty fucking crazy. So with 100,000, well, more than that in data points, like we can see the work, the flow of these people on the website. What are they clicking on? What do they like? Where do they drop off? And all of this. And this is like it's a very cool way of getting feedback. It's just like quantitative feedback rather than qualitative.
Super important. Numbers are super important to monitor how things are going.
So that's definitely something that we're going to be working on now. And essentially, I'm super open to like continue to shape the brand for like 2023. That's why I thought it was super important to launch before Christmas, like before the new year, so that we can start fresh with like data, having understood what our audience likes and all of that, and keep developing more products and evolving the brand. What do you guys think? Like, where do you think we're gonna go after this? We kind of already covered the 1 month to launch. We launched. It's been great. Lots of traffic. We're super happy. And now what? What do you guys think?
Do you mind if I quickly add something? Because
sure.
We've been saying how we build a candle business, and we've talked just about the designs, but I think there's many more aspects to a candle business that we haven't touched on yet. And I think to give everyone a precise overview, or to give a fair overview, we need to say that like while we were doing all these designs, there was other things happening in the background. So Andy was building the website for for these candles, and thinking of how we can create like footage of the candles before that we can use to advertise, we can use the website. So a lot of work went into that. Then we were already brainstorming on content creation ideas, and Pablo was a very important part in that, together with Andy as well. And then I was working on, talking to the warehouse where we store the candles, thinking of how we can legally do that. We weren't even sure if we can store candles because it's a fire hazard. We weren't even sure if we would maybe need insurance, which insurance we would need, all these sorts of things. Then we also had to think about the shipping options, which shipping options we use, what price we set for the shipping, what price we set for the candle. All these sorts of aspects had to be covered. And then like everything had its complications, of course. So there's a lot happening on the sidelines, apart from just the product development. Just want that to be said, so there's no misunderstanding.
Also, apart from the design, we had to choose the materials of the product because we didn't cover that. We thought that we needed a sustainable product, and so we chose the organic soy-based wax. Also,
aluminum, all plastic free. That's great.
Aluminum lids,
all plastic free, and glasses.
Yeah, and we also decided we wanted to give back to charity, and that we will donating at least 1% of revenue of each sale to mental health, essentially. Which is true. I mean, it's true. In this podcast, we talk a lot about design because it seems like such a core thing of what we are. That kind of what defines us as like
of the brand, essentially. But of course, there's all of the stuff around it.
That is a strategy, essentially.
See, mostly, I mean, it's like the first thing you see is the product and is the design of it. The first thing you look at is the label of the candle. So it does make sense to talk about that a lot. Because all the other things happen in the background, you don't necessarily see them. You can't really maybe imagine what's happening. And
design is what makes us us. It's what makes us unique. It's our blue ocean strategy for marketing. But to sustain all of this, we need a great product. We need to focus on the sense, the quality, the materials, logistics, so much, right? And the other things that make a brand be a good brand, like caring about the society and giving back, as we do with charity. So a lot of things also have to sustain this product and these designs. But I think it makes sense as well that we talk so much about design because, as we say, it's like super core to us. But yeah, guys, what do you think we're going next? Because after this initial launch, we have a lot of feedback on all of this in terms of like creation of product and the development of the brand. Even for content creation, all of this. How do you think we're doing this? Definitely for the next year, we will be focusing a lot on getting into stores. That will be like our first goal at that, which we are really looking forward to. But in terms of like the creation of new products, all of this, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts?
I think we still need sometimes, yes, we still, so we have a lot of, we've had a lot of traffic, but we're like, we just started. Like if you look at our socials, the accounts are like, we have 100 followers. Not much more. So we need to understand how to grow those together with the product and what people like to see, what people feel more connected to. So I wouldn't know what to tell you right now. I feel like what has been working the best right now is the funnier side of the candles with still that important message attached to it. Like with our sexy mood. But I don't know if maybe we release a collection that is more like other brands, which is more aesthetics and more visual and focused in having very, very good scents. If that might be what people connect more with, and maybe we can build towards that a bit better. But that time will tell that. We cannot. I wouldn't be able to predict it right now.
No, I agree with Andy. I mean, it's very difficult to predict anything right now because we're at a very early stage. But one of the few things I can say for certain is that we're going to keep trying things out and see what works and what doesn't. We're also going to be focusing a lot on content creation because essentially what we need to do now is for B2C, like to reach customers, we need to grow our socials. need to gain a presence out there, get known, all these things. And then, well, of course, we need to release new products, look into that, design those, set that up. We already talked a bit about limited editions. We had some ideas there.
That's true.
That's true. I mean, right now there's going to be something interesting coming.
We have a good idea for one.
Candle. Campaigns, because when you do a brand, you want to really maximize every chance you get for marketing. So Valentine's Day is going to be a big one. Maybe we can find like celebrating the donations that we do. Do some giveaway on social media with one of the charities we work with. Things like that we should look into, and just maximize.
Yeah, definitely. I think Valentine's will be really cool because it will be like the first campaign properly that we will be doing.
We should document it. I think we should work on podcasts where we actively, so we're working on the strategy for San Valentine's, for example, because I think with our product we have a lot of play, and we can do something very cool. It makes me very excited. And if we can record it and make a podcast and also make content on the site, I think it would be very cool.
Yeah, also
definitely.
Again, like we did in Amsterdam, we should meet up again and like record videos like for content, because I mean, first of all, I want to see you guys again, and second of all, it was such a fun weekend, and like I think it ended in like really good footage. So we should do more stuff like that.
Yeah, we will be doing that. Yeah, nice. Well, guys, do you have anything else to say? I think we kind of painted a picture the best we could, because I mean, there's so much, honestly. Honestly, that's how we did it. For anyone listening, thank you. It was a lot about trial and error, but I think we did it pretty well. Quick turnaround, I would say, in just a few months.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how, because if you think about making a brand, like you might think it takes longer. It actually, most of the work happened within the last 3 months, so it's kind of crazy.
I see ourselves being up to speed in a year's time,
like
though.
Fully up to speed.
Right? Yeah, like with things, campaigns properly running and everything. Yeah.
We need to be fair here and also like mention that thanks to the other e-commerce business that Manu and Andy that we've run already in the past, we've had some connections that allowed us to get certain things done quicker. We had some idea of what needs to be done, what to look out for.
So if there's still someone listening to this, we're gonna thank you for being all the way up to here by giving you a free candle, which I think is pretty cool that we can do. It's the last time that we can do it, because if not, every time like the same person is gonna go to the end of the video. But
we could do in the middle of the video as well in the future.
In the middle of the video.
Never know.
I like that idea.
You listen through.
But if you put if you just comment, "I like bananas" on the comment, we will reach out and we will give you a code for a free candle on our website.
I like bananas.
Yeah, I like that.
Monkey mood. Vale. Nice. Yeah, all right, guys. Well, anyways, thanks for being here. Thank you guys for listening. I think that's a wrap. I hope you like this one. Every time we're, trying to paint the picture of what we do, share a little bit more about us.
The Right Moods everywhere. On TikTok, Instagram,
The Right Moods.
The website.
Check out our...
All right, guys. Yeah. Well, that's a wrap. See you soon. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
See you.